The Jedi justify their galactic dominance in the name of peace. But that peace is a lie.
Star Wars Acolyte. So Star Wars Acolyte is the latest of the Star Wars television series to come out on Disney Plus. And Acolyte is the first thing to come out that is its own new original thing. Because, you know, The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew is set in a post-Revenge, Return of the Jedi era, which is still feels like the original series, and then it's going into the sequel series. So that's like the New Republic era story telling of the Star Wars initiative. And then Andor is set during, and Obi-Wan is set during the Rise of the Empire, which is the 3 and 4. This is the story set before Episode 1. This is set 100 years or so before the events of Star Wars Episode 1. And this is set during the High Republic series. The High Republic is an era of Star Wars which has been ground for books since the first book, Star Wars Light of the Jedi, which really brought in the High Republic, which, if you have not read the High Republic series, I highly recommend checking it out. If you love Star Wars, Light of the Jedi is such a good book, and the Fallen book's good, and the whole High Republic era is so fascinating and cool. So I was very excited to see Acolyte, because it was supposed to take place at the end of the High Republic era, and then eventually, if we get more seasons, I'll get to that it can lead into Star Wars at Phantom Menace. So, I like the series. I'm in the minority. I get it. Some people hate the show. And people just, I feel like, are making reasons to why they hate the show as much as they do. And I think we have fans that don't want to see anything different. I get some of the dialogue is not the best. But hell, some of the dialogue in the original Star Wars movie isn't the best. Some of the dialogue in the prequels is not the best. And I love the prequels. And I can agree with that. And I don't want Star Wars, because first off, Star Wars is one of the most toxic fan groups in the history of cinema. And I'm a diehard Star Wars fan. My name's Darth Easy, for God's sake. But I don't want Star Wars just to always be like, all right, the fans didn't like it, let's end it, because that's how we got Rise of Skywalker. There was a lot of cool stuff in this series. There was some stuff that was really cool. First off, I love the gold robes. Some people don't like the gold robes. I love the gold robes. I think they're very shiny. I think they're really cool. I love the characters they introduced, like Saul as the leader Jedi, who has his problems, has why he does what he does, and you're kind of like, oh man, that's interesting. And then following up with that, you have some of the other characters. I think they could have used a little more characters. It was cool seeing forget what her name is, but Trinity as a Jedi in the episode that explains what happened to all the witches and how the twins split up. Was a really cool episode with her, so I really enjoyed that. Also, I enjoyed the lightsaber fights. I think the choreography for the fights alone was really cool. Another thing I really liked seeing was seeing some characters like Vanessa Rowe, who is a character that was introduced in the High Republic series. So she becomes another character that was first introduced in the books and brought into live action, joining Boba Fett, General Grievous, Ahsoka Tano, and Bo-Katan, all these other cool characters, Saw Gerrera, that was first introduced in the books or show and brought into live action. And I'm interested if they do another season. That I would like to see what happens with that story between Vanessa and finding out that the Sith that is in was her former Padawan. So I think that's kind of interesting. And I get people don't like the twins. I understand. But to be honest with you, a twin story in an action movie, for me, I've seen it 100 times and I can see it 100 times again. And I like where the show ends up. And one thing I really did love seeing was the the bleeding of the kyber crystal, which is something I have read about, and like Darth Vader took a kyber crystal and bled it to make his lightsaber. I was like that was like really really cool, because you know they're all the same kyber crystals. It's not like the Sith get their own little kyber crystals, or why don't we see the Jedi have red kyber crystals? Because it's your aura, your connection to the Force. I've talked about this a lot, but I still believe Darth Plagueis is leading this behind the scenes, and I believe in the cameo in the cave that was Darth Plagueis. I'm 100% sure that was him, because it looked like immune, and that's what he's supposed to be. So I'm hoping that we get to see more. Overall, I get people don't like it, but people shouldn't bash people online because they like Acolyte. I really liked Acolyte. Is it the best Star Wars series they've done so far? No. I do think the ending of the season maybe will get people interested, maybe seeing another season of it. I hope we get to see it. I hope Disney doesn't just go like, well, fans didn't like it, we're canceling it. And because I think in the end of the day, we need to follow the words of George Lucas. You don't like Jar Jar in my show? You're getting Jar Jar in the next movie. Because George Lucas, love him or hate him, he knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he did it. And I think we should follow. I would like to see the story play out, and I think it could really lead into a really cool story that leads into Phantom Menace. So, guys, those are my thoughts of Acolyte. I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope you liked Acolyte. And another thing about it is, if we just kill this show, it just gives us another reason why, well, let's just make another character around Luke Skywalker, or let's follow what Rey's doing. I mean, we're already getting that, it feels like. And I want to see new original stories in Star Wars. And if we just keep pumping out the old original trilogy era, the High Republic, the New Republic era, we're always going to get that. So that's my thoughts. So guys, what are your thoughts of Star Wars Acolyte? Where they are, comment below, let me know. And guys, if you like the video, click this button, subscribe for more. Tell your friends about Easy Nation. All too easy.